Hydrosol enthusiasts. My name is Amy Creighton. I'm here at the Barefoot Dragonfly in Austin, Texas. And today I want to talk to you about one of my favorite recipes in my Hydrosol book, Aromatic Waters. So if you have the paperback version, you can flip over to chapter 10. Under bergamot, it looks like this. You'll see the recipe on page 19 for Seattle Fog Latte. If you have the Kindle version or a different digital edition, then you can just type in the search bar, the Seattle Fog Latte, or the index will take you, it'll link you right over. So it's under the bergamot chapter. We're going to talk about making a Seattle Fog Latte with ingredients that I have here, and we'll make a couple of other lattes so you've got some experiments. Something fun, try something a little different for you. So I have a tea bag here, black tea, and I'm going to add some hot water from my kettle. So we're going to make a hot black tea. I'm not going to add anything to the black tea yet. So right now, black tea, water. We're going to let this steep for a couple minutes. Set that aside for a moment. And I have one of these smaller versions of a French press that you can froth milk in. Easy to do at home. You can also froth milk with one of those little handheld whisks. It's a little battery compartment in the handle part of it, and you can just hold it down into your glass and whisk that milk. The trick for milk is to have it warm. You know, when it necessarily scalding hot, you can, but I like mine warm so that I'm not using super hot water plus super hot milk, and then the beverage, by the time I can actually drink it, it's, you know, most of the foamy part has actually disappeared. A lot of the bubbles have already popped. If you want to use different types of milk, you certainly can. This is cow's milk here. Some of the milks that I have used for Hydrosol lattes range from macadamia nut milk, almond nut milk. I've done toasted pecans, where you take local Texas pecans, put them in the oven, toast the nuts really well, so they're starting to kind of give you that nice aroma, and they've got nice brown color to them. And then I soak those in water overnight in my nut milk bag. You can buy those on Amazon or different places online. Even some of the places in a different shop fronts will carry those. I'm going to froth this while I'm still telling you about milks. So that gives you those couple of options. Coconut milk is really lovely with a latte, and if that's not your cup of tea, other directions you could make a banana milk. That would be taking a frozen banana and blending it in the blender with water until you get this nice, smooth, creamy, milky texture to it. That's really lovely. So we've a little more than doubled in volume here. So this is not a hugely foamy cup of milk, but it'll work. And our tea steeping here has a nice color to it now. So I like to add to the tea first. And if I'm going to use some kind of sweetener, I usually do it at this stage. So we're going to come up to about here. Set this aside. So I've got a nice black tea, and I'm going to use a little bit of the bergamot hydrosol I distilled recently. That smells so good. You can get these measuring cups in glass or in plastic. And we're gonna use about 2.5 milliliters or 2.5 cc's, which would be half of a teaspoon. It's not a lot, not very much, just barely covers the bottom of this glass. Right there into the tea. If I wasn't going to show you a different recipe with this same container of milk, I would add the hydrosol to the milk. So you've got a really great aroma going on in the milk, really lovely flavor, and then add it to the tea. But I'm gonna make something else with this. So we will add this. Here comes the foam. That's lovely. So bergamot hydrosol is a really lovely hydrosol for cheering you up in the long days of winter. This was inspired by visiting our friends in Seattle. It was a great day. We went down to Pikes Peak and we hung out at the market there and picked up some bergamot tea at a specialty shop. And it was so lovely. So this is inspired by that experience with them. And bergamot was just the thing for those cold, gray, drizzly days that we were visiting in Seattle. If you want something that's not going to be caffeinated, you could get a decaf black tea, or we could try our hands at doing a rooibos or red bush tea. So I've got a different pot here. I'm using a finer strain sieve for this because the red bush tea, when it's available to you, it's usually really small. We'll get a little bit of particles in the latte itself, but I'd rather not have very much of them come through. Use a teaspoon, about a and we'll add some hot water, again from the kettle here. Great orangey color, really pretty tea. So let you enjoy that color as it's steeping there. And I'll make another round. Another type of milk that you could try your hands at would be sunflower seed. It makes a really tasty milk. And it's a good option for people who don't tolerate nuts very well. If you've got someone in the family or a loved one that has a nut allergy, sunflowers are probably already in your pantry. And you can prepare them just like you would any other kind of nut milk, where you're gonna soak them in filtered water overnight, and then you run them through the blender in the morning. And strain that out, and voila, you've got a milk-like liquid. Okay. Perfect. So let's do, I don't want this glass lid to come flying off. So I'm doing, because this is a clear mason jar and we've got a nice pint size, so I've got a cup of tea and about a cup of the milk. When you're making it for a smaller one, I recommend having that. So in the book, I recommend 4 ounces of each, 4 ounces of the milk, 4 ounces of the tea, and that way you get a nice mix in your standard size mug, which would be about an 8-ounce mug. You can adjust accordingly if you've got a bigger mug than something else. For this one, I feel like cinnamon hydrosol would be a really lovely addition. So I've got some cinnamon hydrosol from, I keep these in these size bottles because I have a wine fridge over here. I'm gonna keep my hydrosols in, or the majority of my hydrosols in, and that kind of rotates through. So we're gonna use a new cup. And we're doing again the 2.5 milliliters or half a teaspoon. That cinnamon is lovely. This is such a nice way to add cinnamon. It's not overpowering. The hydrosol is really nice. A little bit goes a long way. It's a really lovely hydrosol. This would be very warming. And because there's no caffeine, you could enjoy this in the afternoon, even in the early evening. Maybe this is your cuppa that you'll enjoy before bedtime, after you've spent some time outdoors, if it's cold in your area. So we've got our Seattle Fog Latte, and we've got our Rooibos, our Red Bush tea latte with cinnamon hydrosol. And now I'm going to show you a third option that doesn't involve an actual tea, but a product that's commercially available here in the United States. I'll move this over here. And I'm going to bring out the bag. I buy a very large bag of the Dandy Blend. So Dandy Blend is one of my favorite caffeine-free beverages. If you're looking for a good option for an afternoon tea or a break from coffee, or if you've decided to quit coffee entirely, this is a really lovely option for you. So it's just the dandelion here that you're seeing and the chicory root. Really lovely. It's nice and dark and gives you a similar kind of ritual as you would make coffee, but it would be an instant coffee. So this product, you just mix it with hot water. So I'm going to use a new mason jar here. And I keep my Dandy Blend in a little jar like this for the day-to-day drinking. I use, because this is a larger cup, I'm going to use a little bit more. So I'm going to use a nice well-rounded teaspoon, probably another half teaspoon for us there. So this is going to give you a very dark colored, rich, very earthy flavored. Doesn't taste like dirt, so don't put words in my mouth. It is earthy flavored, but it doesn't taste like dirt, I promise. Let's get to about there. So you can see it looks really close to coffee color-wise. And it's got a nice smell. If you like chicory, you're going to really enjoy this. Let me just make sure that we've got the powder has dissolved really well. And then let's make some foam milk for ourselves here. As my milk cools off, it needs a little bit more pumping to get a little more bubbles in there. Awesome. So let's pick, amongst the ones I have, let's do some cardamom. Cardamom is one of my absolute favorite hydrosols. I go crazy over this one. So cardamom would be nice and warming. This would be a great option for someone who wants to support their gastrointestinal tract, because you've got that nice dandelion that likes to help clean the liver. And this cardamom is lovely and warming to the digestive tract, so great for the belly. This would be a nice option for someone who's a little bit nauseous. I would make sure that they can tolerate the Dandy blend pretty well before you throw milk and other things at them. But this would be a nice latte maybe for someone experiencing morning sickness or someone who's going through chemotherapy. That's a nice color. So quite a bit closer to a coffee latte that we would experience. So different color ranges. You've got a little bit more orange going on here, and you can see how much darker this gets as we let it steep for longer periods of time. And a little bit paler, our darkest one on the end. Like I said, if you wanted to add a sweetener to them, I would add them when you've put the tea in the cup itself, and then add your steamed milk. That's my personal preference. You could experiment with it and see what works for you. I find that if I don't get the sweetener dissolved in the foam milk, the steamed milk, then I've got to stir it, and I'm breaking up all of those lovely bubbles that I spent this work to actually foam them so I could enjoy drinking them. So gives you a few different options to play with hydrosols. I would welcome your comments below, and if you've got questions, feel free to holler at me. Otherwise, I hope you have some fun. I hope you experiment with these lattes.